we're here today to see John and Akiko's Puli, Butchie. I understand Butchie is terrorizing the entire neighborhood. So we're going to take a look at Butchie. We're going to speak to John and Akiko. We're going to take a look at some of the dogs in the neighborhood, and we're going to make this neighborhood friendly for everyone, humans and dogs alike. Okay, John. Okay, Akiko, I'm at your house. You wrote me a letter that you're having a problem with your dog. But first, I want to find out, how did this dog, Butchie is it?
Yes.
How did Butchie arrive at your home?
My brother became ill, and he said, I can't handle him. He's a puppy. He was only, I think, maybe, well, he was about 4 or 5 months at the time, I think, and asked would I care to, John and I, would we like to have the dog.
And the dog was exactly how old when you got him?
About 5 months.
About 5 months old.
Yes.
And what are the type of problems that Butchie is having living with you two?
He is a disobedient, loving dog.
And the problem is? No, I'm just joking with you. Okay, in other words, when you say disobedient, tell me about this disobedience. Because, you know, a lot of people want their dog to act perfect all the time. And I always tell people, if you want a perfect dog, get something with batteries, okay? Yeah. So tell me about his disobedience. Is that he's jumping on people, he's barking at people, he's running away, he's just not listening at all, he's peeing in that. What is he doing that's really not making you as happy as you could be with Butchie?
Well, I think is if we're sitting here, right, and somebody in the road below, and you don't even have to see them, he'll jump up and he'll go charging down the hill, and he just barks, and just is horrible, like he's a different kind of animal.
Do you know much about the Puli as a breed of dog?
Not a great deal.
I was lucky enough to work with the Pulis in Europe, and it's an incredible breed of dog. It's a Hungarian sheepdog, basically. And whenever you have a herding breed of dog, when they come into a home and they really feel comfortable there, instinctively you become their sheep and they want to protect you. So when they feel there's any invasion at all, their first reaction is, okay, I better let them know that I'm here. It's kind of like the flight or fight. If I act tough and I look tough, maybe the other dog will go away. Is he barking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 24 hours?
Immediately. I mean, it can be another person, it can be a dog. With Peter, there's a reason for Peter, I think. But
now Peter's a next door neighbor?
Yeah, Peter is the neighbor that lives 5 houses beyond us. And what he does is he'll get down to the brick wall and he'll just bark, looking to the right, looking to the left. And then after a while, he just gives up, and I go down and, you know, pet him a little bit, and then Kiko calls him, and then he comes back up.
Okay, so after he's performed this behavior of barking at the other dogs and going crazy at the fence, and when he stops, then you go down, Akito, you'll call him, and he'll come back, and you'll pet him. Now, does it make any sense?
I give him a cookie.
Does it make any sense to you that he says, in order to get that cookie, all I got to do is go down to that gate and fence and bark at people? Does that kind of ring a bell with you? I love it when you guys make mistakes. It makes my job so easy.
Okay. The other phase of his barking is when we first got him, we would walk maybe a half mile, 3/4 of a mile, up and down these hills and everywhere. Over a period of time, and he was very nice when he'd meet people, and things were going along very fine. Then all of a sudden, something triggered him where he started to bark at people. On one occasion with Peter down the street, he got loose from the leash, and the first body that he saw was Peter's dog and Peter, who were walking up the street. And it shook, and of course I came running around. It shook him up so much he just froze. And then I grabbed him, and then I took him away. He started barking at that point. That's when he really started barking. Whenever I go out walking, he sees another person with a dog, or even sometimes another person, he just goes bonkers.
Is it a woof, 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 or is it a woof? Okay, well that's good, because the different sounds, the deeper the bark, the more aggressive the dog is. Now, I'm looking at him pretty carefully, and I'm watching him carefully. I haven't seen his reaction yet. Sometimes what happens is a dog at this age will get into a frenzy where they don't know what they're doing. And so one of the ways to resolve that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but one of the things I'm going to focus on is when the dog is in a frenzy, there are certain things that we can do to grab him back to reality, to get him back in his body and get his focus in another direction. What often happens, and the normal reaction on your part when he's barking is quiet, no, 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 no. And again, one of the mistakes you're making is paying a lot of attention to the dog barking. That's number one. And number two, when you're yelling and you're anxious over the fact that he's barking, you can fool me. But let me tell you, the anxiety and the stress goes from one end of the leash to the other. If the dogs were able to walk past each other, what you're going to notice is that after a while, they will start not ignoring each other. They might just give each other a quick bark and that's it. What we need to do is we want to introduce him to other dogs on neutral territory, but we also want to get him calmed down a little. We're dealing with a little bit of a Butchie bully here, okay? And he wants to make sure that this territory is protected no matter what. This is not going to be a difficult problem to resolve, but it's going to take some work on your part. And the most important thing to remember is we want to focus on the positives, not on the negatives. So I'm going to teach you a new sentence today. It's none of your concern. Okay? I mean, you hear dog trainers and animal behavior saying, no, yes, good dog, bad dog. Forget that nonsense. Talk to your dog like he's part of the family. Now, that may sound eccentric and crazy to a lot of people, but this is no longer the family dog. This is part of your family. And you can't take an animal into a human environment, like everyone tells you to. You can't take an animal into a human environment, treat it like an animal, and then expect it like to respond, part of the family. He is going to become part of your family. Now that we kind of figured out part of the problem, why don't we go outside, take a look at it, and see if we can resolve it for you. Ready?
Sounds great.
Go. Butchie, come on, Butchie. It's not aggressive behavior. In other words, the tail is in a I want to play posture. The tail is in he can't figure out why he's there and he's here. But it by no means is this aggressive behavior and can easily be resolved. If this dog was being aggressive to that dog, okay, I mean real aggressive, even though that's a Springer, and I love Springer Spaniels, he would pick up on it. And the body language of that dog would be different too. So he realizes that this one, that Butchie, is a pain in the butt. But at the same time, the dog also realizes that it's totally not a threat, because when a dog feels threatened, they're not going to react the way this dog's reacting right now. You live right down the block from Butchie, and you walk Dinah pretty much frequently back and forth.
Oh yeah, a couple of times a day at least.
Is the reaction we just saw, is that pretty normal?
Whenever he's out,
He'll run down like that?
He runs down and jumps, and her reaction is pretty much like...
So what?
Yeah. We've never had them try to play together or anything because Butchie goes crazy every time we walk by. So we're a little apprehensive, I think, both John and Kiko and myself.
I think she realizes that Butchie's a young dog. And second of all, Butchie's display and his bark is more of a high-pitched bark than a deep bark, which again is indicative of less aggressive behaviors. You're walking down the street with your dog, and Butchie's on a leash. He's not up there. He's on a leash, and you cross each other's paths while you're walking down the street. Is the reaction pretty much the same?
Yeah. John usually walks him because he's too much for a Kiko to handle.
And what's your dog's reaction when he's off his when Butchie is off his property? What's your dog's reaction?
Pretty much the same, but I mean, John usually sees us coming, and he tries to drag Butchie around the corner so that she's out of sight.
So John uses what we call the avoidance approach to behavior.
Exactly.
If I avoid it, I don't have to deal with it. Well, it's interesting. Butchie being a male, her being a female, they should be best friends.
Yeah.
And I think part of the thing that we're going to have to ultimately do is kind of introduce them to each other on neutral territory. You know, from John's description to me, I thought I was coming into a situation where I was going to have to put gauze bandage on. It was going to be bloodshed. No. But it turns out to be that there's a difference between active aggression and the passive aggression, And I don't think there's any aggression on Butchie's part. From what I'm watching, because Butchie could easily come right down that wall. I think he's just feeling his oats a little bit now. It's a change of environment, one family to another. We're going to work on it sooner or later, John, I promise. You'll be able to walk down the street, nice and quiet, nice and serene, and have this beautiful swing alongside you. So we're going to go work with Butchie and shape him up. Just for you. From what I'm watching, because Butchie could easily come right down that wall. I think he's just feeling his oats a little bit now. It's a change of environment, one family to another. I promise you'll be able to walk down the street, nice and quiet, nice and serene, and have this beautiful swing alongside you. So we're going to go work with Butchie and shape him up. Just for you. Come on, none of your concern. None of your concern. Let's go. What a good dog. None of your concern. Nothing for you to be bothered about. That's a good puppy. It's none of your concern. You just watch that dog go by peacefully. What a good dog. Okay. What I'm witnessing so far is a dog that is reacting because of John's reactions. As soon as the dog realizes that you're anxious or fearful, the dog's going to pick up on that. I'm coming across with total confidence. It's easy for me. But that's what we're going to have to get across to John, to come across, okay, pal, with that total confidence.
I'm floored. I'm amazed. It's like I couldn't tell what Warren was doing, but I mean, suddenly he's like a different dog. It's amazing.
You know, one of the changes we noticed is when I was down on the street, Butchie was fine. I said, it's none of your concern. We walked past the other dog. But he's never met the other dog at that level before. He's always higher than the other dog. So what I want to try to do right now is see Butchie's reaction when the other dog walks by, and if there is a reaction, I'll pretty much do the same thing I did down there. And if John is consistent doing it every single day, Butchie's going to say, hey, why bother? What a good boy. What a good boy. What a good boy. Notice no yelling, no screaming. Just letting the dog know what I want him to do. What a good dog. You just hang. None of your concern. John, basically what I did that's different than what you were doing is I wasn't overreacting to Butchie's behavior. But what you have to do is before you go out and take the dog for a walk, sit down and have a glass of Chardonnay. Now really get yourself in the mode that you know that the dog is going to react that way. So even before the other dog approached me, I had let him know that that was an unacceptable behavior. I gave him a little, just a little, it's none of your concern. Nothing hard, it's none of your concern. He heard the chain going through. And once he realized, okay, you know what, maybe this guy has a little positive authority with me, I'm not going to bother. Now, what's going to happen is when I leave today, you sit down, have a cup of tea on your porch, the other dog's going to walk by and it's like I was never here. So what you're going to have to do is set up a specific scenario where you're going to confront this, I'm going to say every day, 3 times a week is fine. Always end with you on a positive note. You stop barking, you out the control, you go inside, give him a massage, a good rub down, good boy. But don't overreact. And never, ever, ever, ever should he receive anything more than no. That's it, just that little no.
Just an unbelievable situation, mainly because of the control and the depth. The hands, basically, it looks like it's in the hands. So, you know, I'm most appreciative, really. I got the right kind of tips and the right kind of help. I'm impressed with Warren, really, for being able to handle this in such a quick manner. I mean, it was very, very easy.
All right, John, what we're going to do before I let you try it is, first of all, I want you to remember, just try to be as calm as you can and try to just walk upright. What we're going to do is we're going to walk past the dog, stand up straight, we're going to look forward. We're not going to look at the dog because once you make eye contact with him, we're not going to do that. Now, if the other dog walked by us, he's going to react, but we're not going to stop. We're going to continue. I want you to say to him, listen, Butchie, we're going for a walk, and that other dog is none of your concern. You got it? Yeah, you got it?
Okay, we're going to go for a walk. Butchie, we're going to go for a walk. Forget about the other dog. It's not your concern.
All right, let's go,
Here
Peter.
we
Let's
go.
go, Butchie. Give him a jerk. Let him know. Come on. Tell him it's none of his concern.
None of your
Keep walking.
concern. None of your concern. None of your concern. None of
Keep
your
walking.
none
Keep
of your
walking.
concern.
Keep walking. Stay. Stay. Peter, if you can walk by, stay. Good boy. Let's go.
Good Butchie.
That's the kind of work. And you have a nice neighbor, so you can work it out with him.
Yeah. Okay. We can work.
We got it.
I've never seen Butchie respond that way, so it's pretty amazing that we walked just a couple of feet away from Butchie, Donna and I, and his reaction was perfect. He just sat still.
I'm really amazed and astounded. First of all, the talent that he has to be able to convey, the information that he knows regarding animals. And the Butchie scenario, the entire barking situation, he was able to calm Butchie down, which I have never seen him in that situation before. Of course, we learned a lot. We're very happy, and I'll tell you, this man is a pro.